Joining us now, another Democrat with a plan he calls Resistance 2.0, Texas Congressman Greg Casar, chair of the Progressive Caucus. It's good to see you, Congressman. What exactly does Resistance 2.0 look like to you, and how are you doing getting other more moderate members on board, or are you?
In this fight back, we need to put as our central message that the Democratic Party is committed to breaking the unholy alliance between corporate greed and corrupt government. And that brings Democrats together across the political spectrum. And in fact, it's something that independents and conservative voters and Trump voters believe in too. That's how we fight back against Donald Trump.
But how does it manifest itself? What's the reality of it? Because I know you have to know this, and you've watched some of the town halls, and I know you actually hosted 3 town halls in Republican districts. There's a lot of frustration out there. They hear those words, but they don't see the action.
Democrats need to stand and fight in this moment. Unfortunately, 100 days ago, when Trump was elected, Democrats were in the wilderness, and some political pundits said that the strategy for Democrats was to roll over and play dead. That's what the pundits were saying. But the people we're seeing at these town halls, they want us to stand up and fight. And I think the people have won that argument over the pundits, and now the Democratic Party is finally shaping up. Look, let's be honest. 100 days ago, there were Democrats that were asking, should we go play footsie with Elon Musk? But now our party has shaped up. We're going toe-to-toe with Elon Musk. We're talking about finally taxing those billionaires, raising worker wages, and opposing the Trump agenda in a way that actually brings new voters in rather than sort of just sticking to our existing voters. And I think that's what makes this fight a more important and high-stakes fight even than the one we were in 8 years ago under the first Trump administration.
Of course, a lot of people who feel the way you do are pinning hopes on the next election in 2026, hoping that it will not be a government that is totally controlled by Republicans. Just months after your colleague and fellow progressive, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, failed in her bid to become ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, the job will be open again because Jerry Connolly says he's going to step back soon. Do you believe a progressive can win powerful positions like that will be incredibly powerful should the Democrats be in control of the House in 2026? Where are progressives in this?
Progressives are leading this fight across the country. I was recently with Senator Sanders and Representative Ocasio-Cortez in Tucson, Arizona. We thought that in this mid-sized American city, we could fill a high school gym with 2,000 people at a rally. Instead, 23,000 people showed up. It covered the entire football field. It was the biggest rally we know of in Arizona history. People are mobilized. They're angry. They want to fight back. But they also want a Democratic Party with a renewed spirit that is about workers and not about sort of playing footsie with the billionaire class. And look, that message is important because that same message I took on stage in Tucson, Arizona with Bernie and AOC, it's the same message we can use on Fox News, the same message I'm using in town halls in Republican districts, because this is the reality of the Trump administration. He said he was going to be for workers, but instead he's put the billionaires in charge. And if we point that fact out, we don't have to wait till next election to slow them down. We can start pulling Republican votes off of the Trump agenda and saving our Medicaid, saving our Social Security, and rebuilding the Democratic Party right now.
He believes that the number one issue that he wants to highlight is immigration and the actions that he has taken. He just said in questions and answers at the meeting, the cabinet meeting he had, praising the actions that his administration has taken, giving making the borders much more safety, saying it's the most significant thing he's done. But I want to play for you what he said about immigrants during his Michigan rally last night.
These people are criminals. If they had their way, we would be living in a third world hellhole. That's what they want. Removing the invaders is not just a campaign pledge. It's my solemn duty as Commander-in-Chief. I have an obligation to do it. Save our country.
Save our country. A fact check, which we like to do. The crime rate, again, we said this earlier, among immigrants, lower pretty significantly than for people born in the U.S. But I have to ask you, as the son of Mexican immigrants, have facts been overrun by the messenger?
we have to make very clear what Trump is actually doing to our communities. He's deporting U.S. citizen children, including not just one, but multiple U.S. citizen children with cancer, taking them away from the treatment they need. The people that he is arresting, many of them have no criminal history at all. In raid after raid, in many of my communities in Texas, the vast majority of people have no criminal history. We have to be clear about why Trump is using this oldest trick in the book. He wants to target vulnerable communities. He wants to talk about immigrants all day and categorize them as criminals rather than the people that build our country, because he doesn't want us to be hitting him where it hurts, which is the fact that the economy has gotten so much worse since he got into office, the fact that people are losing their jobs at an unprecedented rate, the fact that costs are going up. Trump wanted to blame immigrants for things like costs going up, when it ultimately is Trump and his billionaire friends that are jacking up prices. So we should defend due process, human rights, civil rights for all people in this country, native-born and immigrants alike, and then hit Trump where it hurts and make it clear that he shouldn't keep on scapegoating immigrants or queer students. And instead, we should be talking about the fact that the billionaires are jacking up your prices, the billionaires are getting a tax break, while you are having to pay higher prices at the grocery store. That's the fight back that we need in Trump 2.0.
Greg Casar, Congressman, thank you so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you.